I'm throwing you some red meat here. Right
Oh,
now,
I know. I
okay?
can't wait. I'm bouncing up and down right now.
Caleb Snyder says, been a follower since Robert's Grantland days. Have loved Nate and Robert on the pod together the last few years. Keep up the great work. Appreciate that. Said, I know Nate uses cross-sport references all the time, and they've helped me understand finer points of the game better. So that got me thinking. I grew up in Ohio and know that LeBron could have just as well been a dominant tight end if he had gone that route instead. Are there any other non-NFL athletes that you would love to see on the gridiron? And what athletic abilities or skills would translate from their current sports into playing football? This is all you, buddy.
I would say player A that I wish was a football player is Russell Westbrook, because I am convinced that he would have been Sean Taylor 2.0 if he played football. It's like one thing I want him to play safety and blow shit up. I think that his explosive ability, his just everything, his physicalness, his competitiveness, there's a spot for him on the football field. I think safety with his build would have been perfect for that. I think maybe he's a little too like squatty for corner. I don't know. We'll see. But another one, this is a random
6'3", 200. And you put like 20 more pounds of muscle on his frame if you play football. Oh my God.
Yep.
It's a really good one.
That's 1A.
I hate Russell Westbrook as a basketball player. He is like one of my least favorite athletes of my lifetime. It's funny that as I've watched more football and as I've gotten further in this profession on a football level, I hesitate to talk about players the way that I used to as a fan, where it's like that guy's trash or that guy's soft or that guy sucks. Like, you respect the profession. 100%.
Yep.
But as I've gotten further away from watching as many other sports consistently, I've become more like that, where I'm just like, oh, that guy sucks.
Garbage.
And I hate it about myself. But even this Russell Westbrook conversation, I feel myself drifting that way. It's just like, I don't like Russell Westbrook. I don't like the way he plays. But I've always been like that. I remember in those early Thunder teams, when they traded James Harden to the Rockets. And it's like, oh, they can't pay him all, and they got to do something with this. I was like, to get rid of Russell Westbrook. Like, James Harden is a better basketball player than Russell Westbrook is. Like, I believe that in the moment, and I think that has played out to potentially be true over time. But I've never liked Russell Westbrook as a basketball player. I would love him as a safety.
Yeah, his style has never been. It's not for me. It's not for me. And I appreciate the competitiveness and everything, but any gunner that guns teams out of games, like, has always been a guy that I'm like, no, because I hated playing with those types of guys in basketball. So it's like, no, I'm rebounding for you again. Like, pass once, please pass once. And then they're 3 for 20. And you're just like, oh God. So I knew he kind of wouldn't age well. It was kind of cool to see him this playoff series, by the way, just to like be a defense and rebounding monster again. It's like, yes, that's just how you should. So stop shooting. But anyways, I got so many of these. So I'm just
really good question of who's had a better career, James Harden or Russell Westbrook, as I say this. They both have 1 MVP. Russell Westbrook is 9-time All-NBA. James Harden's only done it 7 times. James Harden's been an All-Star 10 times. Russell Westbrook has been 10-time All-Star. Like,
Westbrook's had more all defense though, right? Probably he's like 5 or 6 of them, right? Yeah. I would probably go with Westbrook, but even because Harden's frustrating for me.
I'm out of my depth at this point. I have not watched basketball this sort of closest to be able to have this conversation.
Okay, so this is a random one, but I watched him at Kentucky, and I thought they played against Wisconsin, and this is when I first had this thought, and it stuck with me. Is Julius Randle, who's with the Knicks?
I thought you were talking about one of those other guys. I was like, which one of those guys were you watching at Kentucky?
Yeah, Julius Randle, I think, would be an amazing tight end. I think he's about 6'7", 6'8", but he's got soft hands. And
he does.
Yep. So that's a guy that I thought would be a really good tight end. Anthony Edwards was a good football player in his youth in Georgia, in the Atlanta area. And I think he would stay as a good football player because he's like a 99.9 percentile athlete. I think a corner receiver. He was a running back in his youth, but I think a corner receiver. Zion Williamson would have been a monster 3-tech. And we don't worry about the eating habits with him. No, I'm putting him at 3-tech. Get him to 310. Who cares? 320. No, are you kidding me? You would have been a monster.
I love it with all these other guys. You're like, oh, they'll be sleek athletes, and you're like, we'll really get to express this athleticism they can show on the basketball court. With Zion Williamson, you're like, it's a lily pad hop to 310. We'll be absolutely fine. That's easy. So cool. So cool.
It's 1 week. We're not doing as much cardio easily. I'm telling you guys, I'm sorry, but I'm going to keep going with this. De'Aaron Fox or John Morant at receiver, how fast both of those players are and explosive. The opposite side, kind of think of like the defense first kind of point guards, Patrick Beverley, Eric Bledsoe, Kyle Lowry too. I think would all have been great corners. especially Patrick Beverly and
Yeah.
Bledsoe. I really think because they're feistiness and length. Pass players, Dwayne Wade, Andre Iguodala. Wade, I think, would have been a monster dual threat quarterback.
Yeah.
I that he's a perfect size for one too. He's like 6'4", 220, like or like Ayuk, like at receiver. John Wall is another one of those. And then like big guys, Ben Wallace, Glenn Davis, Big Baby Davis, who I do think had a football background or a wrestling background. Okay. And then I got two more, just two random thoughts. This is just my random. I have more of these, but I limited myself. This is me limiting myself, by the way. You know who has a good arm is Rajon Rondo. I've seen him throw a football, and that dude can chuck it. So maybe there's a path where he was a quarterback. He's like 6'1"-ish, so beef him up a little bit, get to 200. I think he could have been a very good college quarterback at the very least. But then this is the other football. So this is soccer. And I have one that I am convinced, and this is something this is like an absolute of my life. I am convinced Darren Sproles would have been a world-class soccer player. Convinced, and no one can tell me otherwise. He's 5'6". It's like, oh yeah, I could see him being a number 10 in soccer, and how quick he is, and his coordination and everything, his balance, his strength. Oh yeah, that's the one. So I know we did basketball.
I love that one. I love that one.
Yeah, I'm going football to soccer, and that's the one that I'm just convinced of. So, that was fun. That was good.